Welcome to Secure the Bag Africa's African Thought Leadership webinar series, where we bring together industry leaders, speakers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, coaches, and consultants to contribute to the African body of knowledge. Anton Cilliers is a trained paramedic and seasoned emergency services instructor. He's been running his company A to Z First Aid Training Center in South Africa since 1998. For those 23 years, he's been passionate about helping people to handle unforeseen situations, as well as understanding what motivates them as individuals. His jovial, kind, and empathetic nature have led to his interest in relationships, and he's always willing to give a helping hand or listening ear to anyone in distress. Thank you so much for joining us today, Anton. I'm so happy to have you. Could you please start off by telling us about yourself?
I'm Anton. I'm not Mr. I'm Anton. I am on my ID book. I'm 59 years old, but in my mind about 40, 45. I have spent a large part of my life in the ambulance service. For the last 22 years, I'm self-employed doing training, work with people, enjoy people, love people. Don't get depressed if I don't work with people. I was married for 32 years. My wife passed away in 2017 because of cancer. Was diagnosed in June, died in October. So it was a very quick process. Then I met another woman, beautiful lady with children, and now I'm engaged and now father of 5. And not no more father of 2. And that is who I am.
5. Father of 5. Anton Cilliers, thank you so much for joining us. There's so many things that I want to talk to you about today. First of all, this week I came across a life coach who is, he's very popular, but he's also very, very nasty. And it's interesting that you mentioned that, now you're a father of 5. First, you were a father of 2. His opinion is that, once a woman has had children, it's over for her and she cannot find love again. And, I've watched many of his videos and, women call in to ask and say, no, but, I'm a good woman. I'm looking for love. What happened in the past happened in the past. And he crushes them. What is your take on that? Especially since we live in, a world where there are a lot of single mothers who aren't single necessarily by choice.
For me, the important part is that if you start seeing a lady as a man and she's got children, you must understand it's a package deal. You can't only see the mother but exclude the children. So that is the important thing. And often men want to have a new relationship, but they only want to be involved with the mother and they wanted to release or take the children out of the picture. You can't. It's a package. So after my wife passed away, I didn't think I would get involved with the relationship again. It happened. I'm very happy. And the 3 children now that is new in my life are my children. Although I'm not biologically the father, I take over the role as the father. And they've asked me, can I call you dad? And I said, yes, you can call me dad. But they are part of my partner. I can't expect her not to have them. I knew she had them when I started dating her, so I accepted, and that's how I see it.
That is beautiful, Anton. What advice would you give to single mothers who are looking to get into relationships, and you've been told things like, well, you're just going to have to settle? In terms of their own self-esteem, what advice would you give to them?
I think there's 2 problems. The first problem is some woman is so desperate to say I'm in a relationship that they will grab any guy who shows interest. And a lot of guys will actually take this lady or these ladies and actually harm them because they are not involved in a relationship, but they want just a fling. And from the woman's side, men is quick to say to a woman, I love you, because if I say I love you, then she'll allow him to have sex with her, but he doesn't love her. And then when he doesn't come back, the woman then blames herself. She actually breaks down her own self-esteem by allowing this to happen. just because of the desperation of I want to have a partner. Love is starting from a friendship normally, and it will develop into something deeper. Um, it is difficult. You don't walk down the street and say, that's the person I want to love. You need to know a person before you can love a person. So it starts as a friendship, and then it can turn into a relationship. Also, what I find often that older men, especially in the area where I live, where there's Tosa men, they can't handle older, independent women, because in the culture, the man wants to be in charge, the man wants to be in control. And if a woman gets older and independent, um, she is not the yes sir, no sir person. She's got opinions of herself. She's got her own place to stay. She might have her own car. So sometimes men can't handle the independence of a woman, because they don't see a relationship as a partnership. They see it as a boss-slave relationship. I say you do. And then the independent woman don't do that because she is used to do her own thing. And that is actually a problem where older women then don't get into a second relationship or another relationship because of the attitude of men. Not that there's something wrong with a woman. The problem lies with the men.
And Anton, before we continue on the independent women conversation, what does it really take for you to come in and be the father figure?
For me, the word father, it means a lot of things. You do get men who claim to be fathers, but it's actually sperm donors. They're not fathers because they're not involved in raising the child. Being a father means you are there for your child. You are help to raise your child. You help to change the nappy. You help to feed the child, to look after the child. Sometimes men think that being a father is I must give the mother money to raise the child. If the father don't interact with the child can't know the father, he can't love the father. And that father figure is then just like a distant person in the family. But if you as a man interact with the children, they know you, they love you, they have confidence in coming to you when there's a problem. Now the children run to the mother when they have a problem, and the father feels excluded. But he was not part of their life at a young age. And that is the problem that I find with men, that they don't understand the problem with what the father is. One of the problems or the issues that I've got with this is that often you find in the Eastern Cape where I live, there's a lot of migrant workers. Fathers are working on the mines. They don't stay at home with the mothers. So when boys grew up, they grew up with a mother as the person in charge of the household. They only see the father for a very short time of the year when the father's on holiday. So when they grow up without a person to mold himself into, what does he do? He do funny things. If you look at young girls, they like to imitate their mother, wearing the high heels, putting on the makeup, wearing the jewelry. But the father figure is not there to imitate. So the mold that the son must actually use to mold himself as becoming a father is absent in his life. And then it's very difficult for that man also to understand the role of a father and what the father should do.
That is so powerful. And now when you look at the number of men who abandon their wives or girlfriends and leave those children, there's a lot of trauma that the children go through, because culturally already some are not that close. Like you've said, a lot of times people feel, or parents feel, that you belong to your mother or whatever. So when it comes to being a stepfather, you're either in that position or you're not, right? You can be more of a father figure than the biological father. What advice would you give to men in terms of bonding with the child?
It is sometimes difficult with a child, because in the case where I come from now, the middle child was not staying with her mother. She was staying with her grandmother, and then she came back to stay with my partner. And for her father and mother should be a partnership, but the father's already married to another lady. And then one day I spoke to her and she said, "But you're not my father." So I said, "No, I'm not your father. I'm your second father." I said, "This is your mother, but when you visit your dad, he's got a wife. So that lady has become your second mom. So in your life, I am now your second dad. I'm not your dad. I'm your second dad. So while you are with me, I'm your dad here. But when you go to your father, he'll be your dad." So to make the child understand, especially at the young age, that I am not excluding your biological father. I'm not wiping away from him out of the situation. I am just the person here who's taking that role. And once the child understood that principle, then there was no problems. We started bonding and we did things together. The youngest one never knew her father because when we started dating, she was just over 1 year old, and she's now 3.5 years old. I am a dad. In her mind, I'm a dad because that is who I am. So it's easier if a child is younger or when a child is older. But the in-between stage here, 8, 9 years old, is a difficult stage for them to understand what is the role of this guy now in the mother's life. Um, and if you as the partner now get upset with the child, then you're not going to help to bond. Then you're going to push the child away from you. So that bonding is an important thing, but it must come from both sides, from you as the adult, but also from the child.
Right. So, Anton, I want us to talk again about the idea of, men not wanting women to be independent or being intimidated by that. In your community, what have you seen? When women start to become empowered, how do their relationships change?
If you look at the area where I work and the area where I stay, I often in my classes that I present, I speak to men. We speak about HIV, and I ask them. I say, you stay with a lady. After work, you go to what they call a side chick, an outside girlfriend, and you have a good time there. But when you get back to your house, your lady is in bed with another man. What will you do? And 9 out of 10 times the answer is, I will chase them away. I will kill them. And then when I say to them, but what is she doing different from what you have just done? Then the answer I get is, I'm a man. So if you think about why do you have this way of thinking, no, it's my culture. So sometimes men you like to use the word culture as a shield. When it suits them, they use it. When it suits them, they don't use it. So some men, especially amongst the Xhosa men with who I work a lot, um, they have this idea of, for me as a man, I can have many girlfriends, I can have many partners. The problem that's also arising from this is that if you look at a colored and a white woman, they are not secretive, they are very open. Okay. So if she dates a guy, she will tell everybody. What you find amongst the Xhosa women, they are very secretive. So that empowers the men to have outside girlfriends, because that outside girlfriend can be a friend of his partner, but she will never mention that. When the man say, "Don't phone me at any time," she won't phone him because she understands that he's in a relationship, and she respects the relationship. She doesn't want to break up the relationship. Where amongst the white and the colored woman, they say, "I want to be the main one. I don't want to be the outside one." Um, and that actually makes it easier for men to cheat, for men to have more partners. And that is the problem that you have. Now, because again of migrant workers, there are many ladies in the Eastern Cape where I live who doesn't have partners because a lot of the men has moved from here to go and work in other provinces. So there are more women than men. So some women said, I don't mind being a side chick because as long as I get some attention. So that's also the other side of the coin, that you see that um, the problem you find with that type of relationship is that the man is very jealous on the woman, but she will never have a future with him because he's already involved with another lady. He's already married to another lady, perhaps. But she's happy just to be say, okay, I am your side chick, as long as that's happening. So that is for me the meaning to the woman, and that is unfair to the woman. But when that guy leaves her house as the side chick, He goes to his own house where he's with his own wife, but she can't see anybody else because he's now very jealous on her. That so if she can't see any other men or she can't interact with other men, how would she find a husband? That means she will be trapped in this relationship for the rest of her life, or until she gets too tired of it and break it up.
So, Anton, would you say that when women become more empowered and independent, then they're less likely to tolerate this behavior?
Yes, I think so. I really think so. And um, what's interesting is that women are becoming more aggressive in their behavior. That in this, aggressive word aggressive might not be the right word, but in the past, that what you'll find is if the man don't give the woman attention, she will just accept it. Now she demands it. They are not as submissive as they used to be because they come out and they understand, but I've got a right as a person. I have a right to be happy, to be seen, to get attention from my partner. So where in the past it was just acceptable, okay, no problem. For instance, if a man comes home and he wants to go out, he goes out. Um, and it doesn't matter what time he comes back, she must be happy. But if the lady say, I'm going out, then the husband or the boyfriend will say, where are you going? What time are you coming back? Who are you going with? And if she says she's back by 10 o'clock, by 5 to 10, he's already on the phone. Where are you? You're not back in the house. But last night he was out the whole night, but she had to keep quiet. So that behavior is also busy changing, where women say, if you can do it, I can do it. And men struggle with that because they want to be the players, and now they don't want to be played by a woman. And you find women become the players now. That the role has been exchanged. That women take that lead role now, where in the past they never did it.
But I mean, it's not particularly beneficial to either party, is it? Because it's just now causing conflict on both sides.
It is. It is a conflicting situation, and the problem you find is when women become independent and older, and normally the independence gets with a little bit of age as well. Then men don't like them. The sell by date is basically there, where they rather want to go to the young girls um, and spend time with the young girls. But the young girls don't want relationships. They want the benefits of being seen by an older man who's rich, who can buy her things, who can give her a lifestyle. So they accept this, uh, not a relationship, but this being together because it's for her financially beneficial. It's not about love. And that's where the word blesser come in. He becomes the blesser. While she is with him, he will buy her things and actually give her a lifestyle that she wouldn't be able to get with somebody of a younger age.
That is, it's really interesting, Anton. I actually want to ask you, especially from a male perspective, what is the difference between a younger woman and an older woman? Because for me, what I see is that the younger that you are, the less you know yourself, the more agreeable you are, you're more likely to do what the other person wants you to do. And then as you get older, you've been through so much and you speak your mind, and now from what you're saying, it's like, again, a conflict because the older man will want the younger girl because maybe she's easier to deal with, but then she's not looking for commitment or she's looking for money.
That is the problem, that you find a lot of men don't want a full-time relationship. He just want to hang out with somebody. I knew somebody who approached me to say it one day to me, but she wants my advice. She's dating a guy who is 35 years older than her. But he doesn't want to stay at home. He wants to take her out to the pub. He wants to take her out to the clubs. And I say to her, but he is not your partner. You are his trophy. He wants to use you to boost his ego. Because if he walks into the club or the bar now with a young girl on his side, his peers, his same age friends will feel jealous because they have older women, you see. And then one day she phoned me. She said she's very upset. I said, why? She said she went to his house unexpectedly without him knowing, and she found him with an older woman in bed. So I said, but that's exactly what I told you, because you are the same age as his children. He doesn't see you as a partner for commitment and a lifelong partnership. He's using you to boost his ego. And that is the problem you find sometimes with this young girls, older men. It is not about the relationship, it's about the ego of the man that gets boosted because it's like a macho thing. I can have these young girls. And that is for me the problem, that and some girls allow this to happen. That is a sad reality. They don't realize that one day when it's too late, they will have no husband because their sell-by dates will also arrive.
Hmm. And the concept of sell by dates is really, it's unfair for women. And I think it's really determined by the male perception, right? Because her quality doesn't change. In fact, she becomes more valuable as she gets older. But now the male market is determining otherwise, right?
Yeah, that is a sad thing, is that a man who's older doesn't matter. But if she gets older, it's wrong, and it should not be like that. When you start dating somebody, age doesn't matter. You shouldn't say to your partner, "What is your age?" Because if you're too young or too old, I don't want you. It's about a companionship with people. Um, so that is the problem for me, that um, the sell by date thing, that is perhaps the wrong term, but sell by date's an easy way to understand it, is actually demeaning to women. It's undermining women. Um, but it's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing that men have this issue of, I want to be in charge, I want to be in control, and the independent woman is threatening that control. That control is not there because she doesn't allow him to control her, and that is the problem of that. So actually, it's an immaturity or a bad self-image on the man's side who can't handle independent woman.
Mm-hmm. And Anton, you mentioned something earlier about, the approaches that, Black women take versus white women or colored women in relationships, and, the concept of being a side chick. Now, you are in an interracial relationship, right? What are some of the issues or perceptions that you've had to navigate, the two of you? And are there vast differences that you've seen?
I started off in the ambulance service as a young man, and the ambulance service taught me that everybody's the same, that below the skin color, the body is the body. The mother who's bearing a child, whether this is black, white, colored, Indian, Chinese, Japanese, there's no difference. There's the same pain, the same discomfort. So my whole life, I have always been treated everybody as a person, irrespective of what their color is. So for me to date a black lady was not an issue, and I just said that I fell in love with her, and if anybody who's in my life or my circle don't want it, then they must move on because she's important. Strangely, my immediate family, my immediate circle, nobody objected. They all supported me. But when you're out in public, people tend to look at you, tend to like it's for them it's a strange thing. Um, the children they go with me to the shop, then other children will ask them, "But who is that guy?" And they'll say, "It's my dad." And they'll say, "But he is white and you are black. How can he be your dad?" You know. So these things still happen. So although in South Africa we are in a post-apartheid era, there are still a lot of people who cling onto color, who doesn't see people as people. When COVID started, we had a roadblock close to where we stay, and then me and Amanda went to town, and they stopped us and they said she must sit in the back of the car. So I said, no, she's my wife, she's my partner, she must sit next to me. No, she must sit in the back of the car. He was adamant that should happen. And I said, but the perception that people will have is that I'm a racist now because I'm a white guy and I don't want to have a black woman sitting next to me. She must sit in the back of my car. Um, I often travel and I pick up a hiker who travel. And when you pick up a black person as a white person, um, they tend to want to climb in the back of the car. And I will say, no, climb in front. It has happened to me where a lady will hike. I stop for her and then she say to me, I can't get in your car. I'm not a prostitute. So these perceptions that people have that is not always correct. Um, And that is the problem you find, that having interracial relationships, is that sometimes people look at you differently. She's a woman. The fact that I'm a white guy, she's a black woman, doesn't matter. She's a beautiful woman. I love her. So if people can just see one another as people and start seeing a color of a person, then we will also have a better life. Yes, there are cultural differences. I had to learn a lot of things about culture, because there's things different in culture, the way how certain things are seen, how certain things is done. But it is not a stumbling block that can block a relationship. You can still have a good relationship. Um, so that is for me not an issue to have that relationship. And after some time now that we are together, it doesn't bother her anymore that people look at us when we go to town, or we go to the shopping centers. In the beginning, she was really feeling awkward about it. Now it's something she got used to. So it never bothered me. I never had an issue with it. But so yes, it is a change. So it's something you must adapt to and change.
Anton, what about the cultural issues that we've been discussing, such as, in certain communities, women shouldn't speak up or, make their opinions heard, especially when they're dealing with their partners? And that's what I want to know, the difference between white women and black women. Did your partner initially struggle with being able to speak out about certain things? Is she now comfortable just speaking to you?
If you look at the area where I live again, the Xhosa people, when a man dates a woman, she can have a weave, she can have makeup, she can wear pants. The moment they get married, she must transform. She must now wear a scarf on the head, no makeup, and wearing a dress. But the man don't change. He still carry on the way how he's carrying on. And for me, sometimes it's a sign of an insecurity that I must change her. She must change, conform to my standard. In the Western culture, we don't have that. Um, in the beginning, it was difficult for my partner to understand. I'm a guy who like to cook and to bake and do things. And for the first time in her life, she had somebody cooking for her, and it was for her something strange that why must the man cook? That's a woman's function. And I explained to her, but we are forming a partnership. The one who's available can do a function. There's no male role or female role. If she is working and the children need to be looked after, I can do it. The fact that I'm a man doesn't change that. When the small one was still wearing nappies, if she made a dirty nappy or a wet nappy, I as a man can change it, because I did it to my own children as well. Where you find some men say, no, 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 that's a woman's function. That I can't do that. If you're in a partnership, it is two people together. It's not a boss and a slave situation. So the whole thing of men saying that's a woman's function, that is nonsense. It should not be like that. Um, why, if a man and a woman both are working, can the man come home from work, sit around the TV, and demand to get food and demand the attention? And the poor woman must now look after the children, clean the house, do the washing, do the cooking. But he can relax, and he can say, I'm going out with my friends to a tavern, or to a place, to a club, or to a bar. And she can't do that. So that role of male female sometimes is so defined, but it's actually wrong as well, because when you become a partnership, you are a unit, and the one must supplement the other one. So if she's tired from work and I was at home, why can't I cook and give her the meal when she comes in at home? Because she worked longer hours. If there's washing to be done, why can't I, as a man, do the washing? Because why must I wait for her tonight to come from work after being standing for 12 hours on the feet at work, and now expected to come and do the washing? So if men can just change that perception of that is a lady's work or a female work, this is my work. It shouldn't be like that. A partnership is two people together who actually supplement one another, who fit together and do things together. And that is for me interesting. A thing that is interesting, that the way how some women is unhappy, but the culture demand that this is the way how they should do things, and they can't get out of it. Um, but when it suits men, they can change the culture the way they want to suit it. They can do what they want, but women must follow their rules, and that is not wrong. That's not right. That's a wrong thing to do. Women must be able to also come out and do what they want to do.
Thank you for that, Anton. Now, there's one thing that you like to say, and I would like you to elaborate on that more. Why does love, romantic love, actually start with the way that you treat others?
For me, there's a very big word in life that is lacking on many people, and that is respect. If I respect people around me, I'll treat them the right way. If I don't respect people, then I won't treat them the right way. So if you treat people in your life the way you want to be treated, you'll never do harm to other people. Um, I find again in a cultural thing context here in the area where I live, is you get men who go to a bar, they buy a woman a drink, and if they accept the drink, they want sex. They demand sex now because she accepted the drink. That means the man doesn't respect the woman. If a man respects a woman, he will not do that. Um, in sexual intercourse, if the man wants it, he wants it now, but she's got no right to say, I want to do something. Um, so, and then once the man is finished, he will turn his back on the woman and sleep because I had what I had. So that means it is not two people coming together, being together. So this whole situation of how men or you treat people comes back for me to the word respect. If I respect a person next to me, doesn't matter who he is, doesn't matter what his status in life, I will treat him with dignity. I will treat him the right way. And when you are in a relationship, for me, that word respect is important because I must respect my partner. I can't disagree with her. I don't have to agree with everything she's saying because we are two different individuals. But I must respect what she's doing, but I have the right to say what you've done now I don't like because of this or that or that or that. Um, so communication is important as well in the relationship. So when you start off, sometimes people have these feelings that is not necessarily love. That is like a chemical reaction. Love for me is a very deep relationship, a friendship relationship. When my father, my mother passed away when after my mother and father was married for 52 years, and 6 months later he was married again, and I couldn't understand it until I got to the point after 32 years of marriage, my partner died, and then suddenly you're alone. Suddenly there's a loneliness. Um, I didn't go out to say, I must find a partner. It happened. Me and my partner's relationship just started. It happened. It hit me like a ton of bricks. But you feel lonely because that person who you want to speak to is not there. If you walk through a shopping center and you see something nice, there's nobody you can say, look at that nice thing there. So small things that you want to share with the person is not there. So that for me now, suddenly the it opened up. Why did my father got married so quickly? And I couldn't understand at the time. I was upset with him because why don't you respect my mother? But I understand that he was lonely. He had that yearning of a partner. So that is something that people don't always understand, is that a partnership or a relationship is a partnership. You and your partner come together, and you do things together, and then after a while, that friendship can develop into a love. It happened to me with Amanda, that we were friends, and I still told her that we are friends. And one day when I phoned her, she was sick, and I said, I worry about you. And she said, but you don't have to worry. And I said, I worry because I love you. And I said, what did I say now? But it came out. It was not something planned. It's not something that I thought about. And then it struck me, but this is happening. This lady who I thought will be my friend is actually, I love her. And then we were still separated a distance from one another for some time, and then I moved to where she is living, so we can be together. But sometimes, especially amongst younger people, when that guy touched the lady's hand or she touched him and he get all these jittery feelings and things, that's not necessarily love. That's more a chemical reaction. And if there's not true love, after a while this disappears, and then people say, but my love is gone. Love doesn't disappear overnight. But to be in love and to have a relationship is hard work. It doesn't come automatically. When you start dating a person, when you marry a person, as you grow older together, you are changing. Life is changing you. Life is a school, and sometimes school fees is a lot, sometimes school fees is less. But we go through certain situations in life that change us, that mold us into a different person. And when my wife passed away 32 years after we started, or we got married, she was not the same person. I was not the same person. But to stay married means you must work on your relationship. You must give your partner space to grow. She must give you space to grow as well. But you grow together. It's not like you grow away from one another. But sometimes you find, especially amongst ladies, that they start dating a guy, and then she say, "But I don't like the way how he's behaving. But once we get married, he will change." That is a myth. If he doesn't change now, he's not going to change after he's getting married. So that idea of I'm happy to settle for second best, he might change afterwards. No, it doesn't work that way. Also, I find that sometimes people want to be in a relationship just to say, I am in a relationship. They're not happy, but I've got a partner. I'd rather be happy single than unhappy in a relationship. So being in a relationship is a very good feeling. It's a very nice feeling, and it's nice to have that special person in your life. But if it doesn't build up on you, if that person drags you down, there's no use of having a relationship. So it's two people building one another up, helping one another to grow, accepting change, accepting that, and become a unit, and be a unit. Um, that for me is love. Love is that commitment, that deep relationship that you have, and that is for me is love.
Anton, how do you know that you are in a toxic relationship or you're being undervalued?
For me, the first thing is the way how your partner speaks to you. If they talk down on you, if they are negative about you, if they talk bad, they bad mouth you, if they always criticize you, then why are you together? Because you want to have a relationship where you are built up, where you are getting better. Um, so that negativity that the partner gives to the other one, that is wrong. You are not in a relationship. You are in the prison. You are like attached to yourself to a prison, to be in a prison, because you are not developing. You're not growing. You are going to actually go down. And then the problem you find is that, especially men who is negative towards women, they break the self-image of the woman. And if her self-image is broken, then she'll never be happy. She will be unhappy, and then to her to get out of that hurt and to believe in himself again is actually a big step that must happen. Um, so if it's a bad relationship, a toxic relationship, get out. Rather be single and happy than to be in a relationship and unhappy.
How is your image broken? How do you break a woman's image?
There are very few men who would, if they wake up in the morning or the woman get dressed, that he will say to her, "You smell very nice. You use a very nice perfume. You look beautiful." Um, Complimenting her, doing things for her. Um, why must I sit and say, "Bring me coffee," if I can make the coffee and bring her some coffee? That's building her up. That's not breaking her down. But if I make her my slave, where she must do things for me the whole time, but I'm not prepared to do something for her, then I'm breaking her down. Um, so that is something that the two people work together. Again, How many guys will bring their partner breakfast in bed? Why not? Why must he lie in bed and say, I want something to eat? Why must she be always the one? And that is small things that can actually build up a relationship. Um, if he sees something nice, how many guys will buy a woman a little present? It don't have to be expensive something, but a flower, a chocolate, something nice, and just come home and say, "I love you. Here's something for you." There are many guys. I had a guy in my class who said to me, when I asked him, "Do you tell your wife that you love her?" He said, "I told her 25 years ago when I got married, I love her. I haven't changed my mind." So I said, "What? In 25 years, you've never told her?" No. He said, "No. Why must I tell her I love her? I told her when I got married, I love her." Women want to hear those things. They want to feel important. They want to feel cherished. So if men don't do those things, then how can she grow? How can she feel good about herself? Um, I ask men in my classes. I say, if you at town and your partner is staying away from town, and she phone you and say, "Oh yeah, I can do that." Then I say to them, "But if she phones you and say, it's that time of the month, I need sanitary pads. Will you buy it for her?" "No, I can't do that." Why not? Why not? It's a basic thing. It's like buying anything is in a plastic bag. Is no problem. But
Anton,
if I respect her,
the
yeah,
network froze. The network froze over you. So could you just
okay,
repeat that part again? You asked if she asked him to get something from town. Could you just start there again?
okay. I asked guys in the class. I said, "You are in town. Your partner is out of town. You're staying in the village, and she phone you and say there is no nappies for the baby. Will you please buy nappies, Pampers, like they call it?" Then the guy will say, "Yes, I can do that. No problem." Then, if she say to him, "But please, it's that time of the month. I need sanitary pads. Can you please buy it for me?" The majority of men say, "No, I can't do that." Then I ask, "But why not? What is the difference of buying a pack of Pampers or a pack of disposable nappies or a pack of sanitary pads?" So if I care about my partner, I will not be embarrassed as a man. Why must I be embarrassed as a man to go to a shop and buy something for her? How must she come from town out from the village to town to come and buy that? So it's stupid little things, but that is the way how men show respect to women. That's the way how men show love to a woman. If I care about her, I'll do things for her. And that is where you build up a woman where she's feeling good about herself. No woman who is happy in a relationship will cheat on her man, but she will cheat on him if she's unhappy. So
Especially emotionally.
yeah, if he keeps her happy, if he makes her feel like his queen, what will make her run away? What will make her cheat on him? Because she is getting the proper treatment at home. But if a man disrespects his wife, not treating her well, then she's going to look for that comfort, that happiness, that assurance outside, and they can break up the relationship.
Right. Those are valid points, Anton. And I mean, even if she doesn't cheat, the misery, because, and you can often see it on a woman when she's emotionally unhappy, you know, when we don't feel listened to, your emotional needs are not taken into consideration. You don't sit with her and just have conversations one on one and, see how she is. And, I've said to you in the past, I love seeing the early pictures of your relationship versus the relationship pictures now. There's such a huge change. There's a massive change. There's such a blossoming of both of you, actually. But I feel like when I look at Amanda, I'm like, oh my goodness, what did Anton do? It's just like two different people. It's amazing. And I want to ask you now, from a male perspective, what do men look for in a woman? Because we've spoken about, the independent women, we've spoken about the cultural issues. What exactly do you look for in a partner as a man? Because obviously you're not looking at her achievements or, her status or whatnot.
I think it is different from man to man. I don't think there's a general rule. There are some men who is infatuated with the body. They want just the perfect body. And I don't think there's a perfect body, but um, I have a friend who got married and after a couple of years told his wife, "You must lose weight. I didn't marry this body." That's unfair because we all can change shape. That's not difficult to do to happen. So some men is they want to boost their own ego by having this little dolly next to him, and if the body shape changes, then it breaks down his ego. Um, if you are truly in love with a woman, it doesn't matter what the size is, doesn't matter what the shape is. Um, you will love her. So it is a companionship first. I think you want to have somebody who you can talk to, somebody who you can tell your stories. If you come home from work, you don't want her to be so busy with the children in the house that you don't have anybody to talk to. And I think communication in a relationship is very, very important. So you want to talk to her. You want to have somebody who can sit down with you and have a conversation. Um, then you need to boost one another in also the sense of, so sometimes when men come from work, he's so taken up in his own problems. She must listen, she must be the soundboard, but she has problems in her work situation as well. But he's so taken up in his own issues that he doesn't allow her to be to be or to use him as her soundboard as well. He will not say, "But how was your day? What happened? Are you happy with your work situation?" Because that I'm so focused on myself, and that's the thing. If you focus on your partner, then you can pick up these things. Um, Small things that I believe in also that makes people happy is that you must make time for yourself and your partner. Sometimes you must go for a breakfast without the children just to do something on your own. I don't say exclude the children, but sometimes you must have a bit of private time. You must have time where you do things together. Um, Mothers are sometimes so involved with their children that they don't look after themselves. So then, as the man, you must say, "But come, let's go for a breakfast. Do something. It don't have to be something major, but just to make her feel special. Um, Buy her something. Take her on like a date night. Do something, but just to keep the relationship fresh and to make her feel like that was like the days we started. Often people start off with so many good ideas as a relationship, and as time progresses, it becomes a habit. um, that special feeling is no more there because the man, is just taking for granted she must be here. I don't say thank you to her. I don't appreciate her. I don't show my appreciation to her. And she's so busy cleaning the house, cooking, working, looking after children. If I, as a man, don't partake in those functions, then she get lost. And then I think there's a lot of women who feel, but I am not his partner. I'm his slave. Because he's got freedom to go out with his friends. He's got freedom to do things. I'm always stuck in this house. Um, then that's not a relationship. Then it's a boss slave again, not a partnership. So I think from men's viewpoint, there's a lot of men who lose that vision of when I start dating her, I can take her out, we can do things together. But the moment the ring is on the finger, then they change their attitude. Now I don't have to work anymore because I've got her. She's not mine. And that is wrong. That is wrong. You must still work on your relationship. Also, you find that um, in the Eastern Cape, men pay lobola. They pay a dowry to get married. And often when the guy have a fight with a woman, the first thing he will say to us, "I have paid money for you." But when you pay that dowry or the lobola, you don't buy the woman. You give money as gratitude towards the parents. But in some men's mind is you are now my possession because I have bought you. You never buy a woman. She can never be your possession. She's your partner. Um, so the mindset of the man can often then impact on the woman, and um, they can do what they want. Women must just follow the pattern that they say. So some men can be very stubborn, um, and that should be that mold should be broken as well. Treat her the whole time like you did when you were dating. If you bought her some things then, why don't you buy her things now? Um, give her some surprises. Come home with a small gift. Take her out. Do things that'll keep the relationship fresh. That'll make her happy. Will make you happy, and that is important. If there's happiness, there is fun. If there's fun, there is a good time. Um, Nobody wants to be in a relationship where you're always negative. We always hear how bad you are. You don't do this. You don't do that. Build instead of breaking the woman down, build her up. Build her up because if I build her up, she's going to build me up as well.
Yes, and I love the direction that you're taking, Anton. There's so much, you're so proactive basically in what you're saying, that men do play quite a leadership role in the relationship, because when a woman is treated in a certain way, then all these other things follow. Like you're saying, building each other up, the respect and all of that. Thank you so much for mentioning that.
Okay.
And another thing that you keep mentioning, I think about 20 times, is communication. I think it's your favorite word. And I think it's I think it's a very important word. And I want to know why you emphasize communication so much. And the example that you gave was amazing, because you said, I don't like what you did because of this. But a lot of times we will react. It's either the silent treatment or withdrawal, breaking up, aggression, acting out. What is the correct way to communicate?
Communication for me is important because then if I am unhappy and I can tell my partner why I'm unhappy, she can correct it. But it must not be in a breaking down way of communication. It must be a correction where I can say, but I was unhappy because of this or this or this, and she can tell me what she think and how she felt as well. The problem with communication, and we all are guilty of this, when you start talking to one another, especially when there's a bit of a heated feeling when you have the communication, people don't listen to the other person who's talking. While the other person is talking, they start formulating an answer already. So people don't listen to listen; they listen to answer. And if we can break that mold, if we can break that idea that let me listen with an open mind. Yes, it might hurt me what you say to me, but let me listen to what you say. Um, the moment there's anger, communication is gone. You can't communicate while you're angry. Then it becomes a screaming match. And then the problem is that what you said can never be retracted. And when you say something in anger, you say something wrong. And you know, ladies, they've got a magnificent brain. Whatever the man do wrong, they will remember for years to come. You see. Um, but if she does something wrong, she forgets it immediately. Uh, so that thing of saying things in anger is wrong, because now I say something and the way how I express myself might not be the right way. And instead of communicating to trying to resolve an issue, I'm communicating by breaking down my partner. So communication is important. And if you don't want to sit down and have a confrontation, write her a little letter, leave her a note, or think before you talk. Sit and talk, think about these things. Don't get the moment there's anger, you can't think straight. You say things that you shouldn't say, and once those words are spoken, they are out. They can never be retracted, and that is important.
I think it froze. Let's, okay. So you were talking about, you are finalizing why communication is so important, and why, silent treatment doesn't work, withdrawal doesn't work, and actually saying why you were upset, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, because we don't do that. Like, I'm afraid to tell you that you embarrass me.
Yeah. again, it's like an ego thing that men, and I think it starts from childhood. Often you hear a parent will say to a young boy, you don't cry, boys don't cry. So if a child is brainwashed, especially little boys are brainwashed not to show emotion, they come to the point of, I must be macho. To be macho is, I must shout, I must scream, I must fight. A soft word carries more power, is more powerful than a shout or a scream. If a man is doing something wrong and he's really, really sorry about it, and he's crying about it, women will respect him more than, she will not say you're a softie. Okay. But some men think it's not macho to show my emotions. It's not macho to show I'm vulnerable as a person. I can also cry. I can also feel sad. I think a woman builds up more respect for a man who can show emotions than to hold this front of I'm a macho person. But then he starts doing all other things to try and get rid of his stress by drinking, fighting, playing outside and doing things like that. So communication is important. The way how you communicate is important. Showing emotion is important. And never stop to say, I'm sorry. If you do something wrong, admit it. Don't try and put your partner on a guilt trip to say, it's your fault, you did this or you did this. If I, as a man, do something wrong, I must admit I did something wrong. I must apologize for that. My partner will have more respect for me if I apologize, and the chance of us fixing the problem is far bigger than when I'm trying to lay blame on her and to cover up for my mistake. Then it's not communication. Then it's a blame game. So communication for me is a very, very vital thing. That people must talk to one another. You must share things. In general, talk. Don't just sit there. In my house, there's no television in the lounge, because if you visit me, you come to talk to me. You don't come to watch TV with me. That is what's important. People don't know how to talk. They don't know how to communicate, because we are so used to cell phones, we're so used to laptops, we're so used to TVs. Everything is done for us. So our ability to communicate has broken down. We are not good communicators anymore because of everything is told to us, and that is wrong.
Anton, thank you so much. It's been amazing. Actually, I think that I could talk to you forever. And if I don't cap the conversation, I can actually think of 500 more things to ask you. And you have so much grace and patience to answer.
At least if it can help one person, it's worthwhile.
Yes.
Then it's worthwhile.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Anton.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.